Chapter 7. Nothing Like Misery. In the year 2002, deep underneath the remnants of an ancient civilization, a council convened in a dimly lit chamber, its atmosphere thick with a palpable sense of power and ambition. Shadows danced along the stone walls as a myriad of creatures and beings filled the room, each face reflecting their twisted desires. At the head of this dark assembly stood Caligula, cloaked in regal darkness, ready to unveil plans that would alter their fates forever. "Now, all of you have been called here for a very important announcement," she proclaimed, her voice booming like thunder, commanding the attention of all present. "I want to thank those who have sacrificed their offspring for the next generation of our troops, soon to be generals, leaders, and eventually rulers of this world. Each of you deserves this honor too, and I want to congratulate everyone here who has survived." A wave of applause surged through the chamber, a cacophony of approval echoing against the crumbling stone walls. Caligula's eyes sparkled with a blend of pride and foreboding as she surveyed the assembly. "Today, though it may seem ordinary, holds significance for me. I would like to present a new badge to my sister, Gertrude Walden." Gertrude, a formidable leader in her own right, approached the stage with an air of confidence. The badge, a symbol of unparalleled skill and dedication, gleamed under the dim light as she accepted it with a triumphant smile. The assembly erupted into cheers, the sound filling her with renewed purpose, a fire igniting within her. Yet, as the echoes of applause faded and Gertrude retreated to her chambers, preparing supplies for her daughter, an unexpected visitor burst through the door. Anastasia, her erstwhile confidant, stood there, breathless and radiant. Gertrude's belongings clattered to the floor as she enveloped her friend in a tight embrace.
"Oh, I didn't expect to see you here," Gertrude exclaimed, the burdens of the past year dissipating in the warmth of their reunion. "I know, right? It's been dull without you. Everyone I interact with only talks about scientific discoveries and theories." Anastasia giggled, mischief dancing in her eyes. "What's been happening with your hot ex-boyfriend Rautha?" Gertrude rolled her eyes, laughter bubbling up. "Please, there's no between us anymore, and it's for the best." Anastasia smirked, feigning innocence. "Just teasing. I've missed you more than I thought I would." The warmth of their friendship enveloped them, a beacon amid the shadows. "I missed you too. I brought some things for my daughter," Gertrude said, gesturing to the scattered items that hinted at her maternal devotion. "What? You have a daughter? Why didn't you tell me?" Anastasia's excitement was palpable, her eyebrows shooting up in surprise. "I have to meet her." "Let's go," Gertrude replied, a rush of exhilaration threading through her veins. Together, they navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the ancient stronghold, their laughter ringing out like a melody, a stark contrast to the dark ambitions that loomed above them. As they reminisced about simpler times, their bond surged, a flickering flame amid an abyss. Approaching the nursery, the atmosphere shifted, the weight of their surroundings pressing down as they sensed the ambitions of their assembly lingering in the air. Yet the innocence of Gertrude's daughter beckoned them toward hope, a sanctuary from the encroaching darkness. Stepping into the nursery, they were greeted by the soft coos of the duplicate child, a living testament to their shared dreams and potential futures. In that moment, Gertrude realized that despite the oppressive shadows that defined their existence, the tendrils of hope still flickered brightly, resilient against the gloom. "Treachery may have birthed us, but love can nurture our descendants," she whispered. A vow not only to her daughter but to all generations to come. A promise that even in a world wrought with darkness, the light of love would prevail. Rosa stood by her locker, her hands trembling as she fumbled with the lock. The usual clamor of the school hallway faded into a distant hum, overtaken by the rush of her heartbeat. She felt weightless, her senses sharpened, It was as if the air crackled with an unearthly energy, and the world around her blurred into the background. Then she saw him. Alexander strode down the hall, a vision clothed in confidence, his shadow casting a long line that seemed to stretch all the way to the library. His tousled dark hair caught the light, and every movement he made seemed deliberate, choreographed in an unseen dance. The sight of him struck Rosa like a jolt of electricity, and she let out an involuntary gasp, feeling herself enveloped in the halo of his presence. "Oh, come on, Rosa. You're drooling." Doreen's voice broke through her trance, thick with annoyance. "I don't see that Alexander is very handsome at all. Please don't tell me you're actually hallucinating over him." Rosa turned to Doreen, her cheeks flushing. "But he's so perfect. I can't help it. I just wish I could touch him." Her voice dropped to a whisper, as though saying it out loud might shatter the dreamlike spell he had cast over her. Doreen rolled her eyes, crossing her arms. "You don't have to be so dramatic about it. There are other handsome guys in this school. We're too young for all this destiny nonsense." Rosa's heart fluttered with a mix of hope and defiance. "I can wait. I know if I'm patient, the right time will come, and maybe that's when our destinies will collide." "Ugh, yuck! Destiny, please!" Doreen wrinkled her nose in mock disgust. "What's disgusting is the idea of dating one of those dumb robot troops from the evil forces. They're all malfunctioning wrecks." Rosa laughed, buoyed by her friend's banter. Doreen had a way of lifting the weight of daydreams and grounding her in laughter. But as Doreen dug through her bag, the light mood shifted like the cloud of a darkening storm. "Wait, what's that?" Rosa pointed to the slip of paper that had fallen from Doreen's bag. Doreen frowned, reaching down to pick it up. The note read, "You have to come home early. I just need you to be fully protected. Emily." Doreen's eyes widened for a moment before she masked her surprise with a shrug. "It's from my aunt. She needs me to go home early." "Why?" Rosa asked, a tinge of worry knitting her brow. "I don't know. She's just paranoid about the evil forces trying to invade again. But I'm not scared of those losers," Doreen replied, waving her hand dismissively, though deep down she knew the danger was real. "Well, not everyone can be as tough as the task forces like your aunt," Rosa said, a mix of admiration and concern in her voice. "True, but who needs them when we've got our lives to live?" Doreen grinned, trying to brush off the tension. As they approached their classroom, the air felt heavy with unspoken fears. Rosa's thoughts flickered back to Alexander, a fleeting moment of light in a world that seemed increasingly shadowed by looming threats. Perhaps she didn't need to rely on destiny. Maybe all that was required was courage. Courage to face her feelings, her fears, and perhaps even the shadows of the evil forces. With a determined heart, she vowed silently to herself that she would brave whatever came next, whether it be its conjured demons or the tender thrill of first love. Rosa glanced at Doreen, who was oblivious to her inner turmoil, and smiled. It was all serene until a whirlwind burst through the double doors. Alexander, the mayor's son, swept into the library, the air around him buzzing with energy. "Ah, it's like we're having good times," he exclaimed, his arms wrapping around Eric in an unexpected embrace. "I've missed you." Eric chuckled, his heart lightening despite Alexander's boisterous entrance. "I'm glad to see you, but your bodyguard. What do you think they'll say?" "Pfft, I purposely slipped away from him. I can handle myself." Alexander shrugged, a boyish grin firmly plastered on his face. "Besides, I need to get out from under my father's shadow. He wants me to meet Hannah, and it's the last thing I want to do." "Hannah? Why?" Eric asked, a hint of curiosity piquing his interest. "Because she's supposed to be a fine match," Alexander huffed, rolling his eyes. "But I don't even like her, that's just it. She's not my sister, so what's the point?" "Come on, don't be childish." Eric readjusted his glasses, leaning back against the wooden shelf, the weight of Alexander's words digging a little deeper. Childish? No, I just miss my mother. She's too busy with her new family. Alexander's voice dropped, and for a moment, vulnerability surfaced in his bright blue eyes. She can't even spare a weekend to see me. It drives me mad. I can understand how you feel, but maybe there's more to this. Eric suggested gently. More? What could justify abandoning her son? Alexander snapped, but the edge softened after seeing Eric's concerned expression. I need her to care. I feel like I'm being prepared for some kind of role, a puppet in a larger scheme. Before Eric could respond, Alexander swiftly changed the subject. Anyway, I came here to invite you to my party tomorrow. It'll be great. Think of all the girls you could meet. Alex, I'm not interested. Eric sighed, refusing to let his gaze shift from the well-worn pages before him. You have to give it a try, man, Alexander urged with puppy dog eyes. What else are you going to do? Stay here and read? Actually, yeah, that's a good plan. Please, for once, let's live a little. Alexander leaned closer, lowering his voice conspiratorially. How about we lift our spirits a bit? Some drinks might be fun. Drinks? Alex, you know I'm allergic to alcohol. Ugh, fine. But come on, at least be excited about something. This is our chance to let loose. Eric's resolve began to unravel against Alexander's infectious enthusiasm. Okay, I'll think about it. But no wild parties, promise? Alexander laughed. Deal. Besides, it's about time we celebrate something other than your beloved books. Life is waiting out there, you know. With that, Eric closed the book on his thoughts, looking at Alexander, his friend, and the world outside the library. Perhaps this was the beginning of something unexpected. A blend of companionship and latent adventure. In the dim light of the hideout, fragmented rays of sunlight crept through the cracks in the metal walls. The air was thick and stale, infused with the faint scent of smoke and rust. Shelves lined with old gear and scattered circuit boards surrounded Stella as she opened her eyes for the first time in what felt like an eternity. Confusion clouded her mind, and she squinted, trying to piece together fragmented memories. Her surroundings felt foreign, yet oddly familiar, like a forgotten dream lingering just out of reach. "Mother, you're awake," said Walden, his voice a soothing murmur against the oppressive silence. His face was drawn and haggard, marked by worry. But even through the dirt and fatigue, his love for her radiated like a beacon in the darkness, a lifeline she hadn't realized she needed until now.
What is going on here? Stella's throat felt dry as she spoke, the words scraping against her parched lips. Why don't I remember anything? This room, everything feels different. The questions tumbled out, each one heavier than the last. Walden shifted uneasily, the weight of truth pressing down on him. It's a long story. There's a terrible war going on out there. He gestured toward the walls as if they could somehow contain the chaos beyond. You've been in a coma for a year. A cold weight settled in Stella's chest. A year. The realization sank deeper as she glanced around, desperately searching for the child she had fought so hard to protect. Her heart raced as her eyes fell on her daughter, Caligula, lying unconscious beside her. Blood stained her shirt, and her pale face twisted in pain. Panic surged through her veins like ice. "What happened to her?" she implored, reaching out a trembling hand, her maternal instincts igniting in a blaze of fear. She got hurt in the conflict. We had to escape after the invasion. They struck fast and hard. Walden's voice shook slightly, as if the memories clawed at her own heart. The scientists are doing everything they can. We need you to recover, Mother. I need you. Stella felt a surge of determination. I know that everyone needs me. When I get better, I'll make sure we find a way to revive Commander Phelan and bring her back to us. The weight of leadership sat heavy on her shoulders. They didn't just need her strength, They needed her spirit, her will to fight. That would be a good idea, Walden nodded, hope sparking in his weary eyes. And what of Gertrude? Stella asked, her thoughts racing amidst the chaos. They had taken in Gertrude, an orphan whose abilities complemented their own. A flicker of concern ignited within her. They're both fine, murmured Code 1, a mechanical figure that perched nearby, glowing softly with a gentle blue light. They're strong, just like you. They need you. Relief washed over her just for a moment. That's what I always wanted to hear. They're so important to me, so powerful. I'd do anything for them. She paused, glancing at Caligula once more, conscious of the burden of her strength. Why didn't you treat me with the same care as them? She chided lightly, the familiar banter a comfort even amid the turmoil. Because you and your father are prototypes, Code 1 explained. You share a unique heritage, an energy that intertwines with the world in ways even we can't fully comprehend. Fine, she acquiesced, a mix of pride and annoyance bubbling within her. Then I'll prove it. Just give me time. Don't feel bad about it, Code 1. I know there's something you can do to impress both me and your father, Walden added, his voice laced with encouragement, hope glimmering in his eyes. Stella drew in a deep breath, a sense of purpose rekindling within her. She was still here, still breathing. The world outside continued to crumble, but in this hidden sanctuary, her family remained. Every heartbeat pulsed with potential, and within her the spark of resilience ignited, ready to challenge the darkness. As she gripped the edge of the makeshift bed, determination surged through her too. They would rise again, together. Stella exchanged a quick glance with Walden and Code 1. She could feel the threads of their fates intertwine, a tapestry of hope and strength woven from the chaos that surrounded them. In the dim light of their makeshift workshop, stacks of scrap metal and old weapon parts lay scattered around Gertrude, a grim reminder of their dire circumstances. Her focus was unwavering as she shaped the metal into an improvised weapon, a small but deadly projectile launcher designed to help the reluctant rebels fight against Rautha's well-trained evil troops. The air was thick with the scent of rust and grease, each clang of her hammer resonating like a heartbeat in the silence of their hidden refuge. The clinking sound of metal drew her attention away from her task, and she turned to see Rautha leaning against the doorway, arms crossed. His cocky smile pierced through her intentions like a dagger, reminding her of the past she wished to forget. "Are you not going to say anything? Well, I'm fully recovered," he proclaimed, as if his mere presence warranted praise. "Congratulations," Gertrude replied bitterly, attacking her tool with renewed vigor, her anger fueling the precision of her work. "Is that all you can muster? Just a single word?" Rautha stepped closer, his voice laced with mockery. Gertrude could feel the heat rising in her chest. He was testing her resolve. "What else do you want me to say? Do it again, have fun with Caligula, and don't be such a clumsy commander, huh?" She shot back, eyes narrowed in disdain. Memories of his past failures still burned in her mind, igniting her frustration. "Hey, don't call me clumsy. Some task forces always invade us unexpectedly and we should be informed. Anyway, I have this injury and I can still train our troops even harder," he argued, defensive and wounded. "You're so stupid," Gertrude mumbled under her breath, her German escaping in frustration, the words bitter on her tongue. "What did you say?" Rautha's curiosity piqued as he leaned closer, his eyes glinting with a mix of playfulness and irritation. "I said it's annoying how you interrupt me. You're the most annoying ever," she retorted without missing a beat, a small smile threatening to crack her stoic demeanor despite the tension. "I know, I really liked you," Rautha started, but she halted him, cutting through the air like the blade she was crafting. "I've moved on. I don't dwell in the past anymore. I'm just happy being single. Now if you'll excuse me, I have guns and ammo to fix." She cut him off, her tone final, a wall rising between them. "Okay, I should get going then," Rautha said, feigning a casual tone as he backed away, leaving behind a silence that felt heavier than before. Left alone, Gertrude sighed, the sound echoing in the confines of the workshop. She immersed herself in her craft again, but was abruptly reminded of her real daughter, Leonie. The thought of her brought a flicker of warmth to the cold metal around her. She decided to visit her in the storage room. Surely the sight of her would lift her spirits. As she entered, Brunhilde stood waiting, her face alight with news. "Oh, hey, you finally came. And also I have something to tell you. Stella finally woke up from her coma. But your brothers, they still need to recover, and Vince too," Brunhilde chirped, sensing Gertrude's hesitance. "I'm not exactly excited to hear that news," Gertrude replied, feeling an ache within her, the weight of uncertainty pressing down like a boulder. "Why not?" Brunhilde pressed, her curiosity genuine. "Because it's just going to lead to more chaos. They'll continue with their stupid plans, and I can't be sure this is best anymore," she said, frustration leaking into her voice, a mixture of fear and anger swirling within her. "I don't know either, but at least your child is safe because of me. And now that Stella's awake, they may try to revive Phelan," Brunhilde warned, her eyes steady, but Gertrude could see the concern there. Gertrude's heart sank. "Okay, I know they're going to try something, but for now I'll just stay here with Leonie." Brunhilde nodded, understanding the unspoken bond between mother and daughter. "That's good. Spend time with her while you can. I'll leave you to it. I need to head to the library." Left in the quiet of the storage room, Gertrude felt the weight of her choices heavy on her shoulders. A war brewed outside, but within her heart was the flicker of hope. With Leonie, she resolved to face whatever shadows loomed ahead, knowing that together they could forge a path through the darkness. The sound of laughter from the next room called to her, a reminder that even amidst chaos, love could still bloom. Brunhilde had departed for the lab, leaving Gertrude to tend to Leonie. The moment the door clicked shut, a hush fell over the room, wrapping them in a cocoon of warmth. Leonie, with her bright eyes sparkling with curiosity, turned her attention to Gertrude as she settled beside her. Between them lay a cherished container of snacks, a simple yet comforting bridge in their shared world. "Why do you always stay here for longer?" Leonie asked, her voice a delightful mix of innocence and a wisdom that belied her years. The question hung in the air, a testament to the bond they shared. "It's just that it's better for you to stay here. It's dangerous for you to go alone without someone," Gertrude replied gently, her gaze softening as she observed Leonie's tiny hands meticulously arranging honey-roasted peanuts on the table. The child's concentration was palpable, and Gertrude couldn't help but admire her focus. "I just want to do it for safety." "Oh, I understand," Leonie said, nibbling thoughtfully on a peanut, her expression turning contemplative. "But I just know that you always want to protect me." The weight of her words settled between them, a subtle acknowledgement of their intertwined lives. "That's right, and don't worry. Now that I'm here, I'm going to spend time with you. So tell me, what did you do with Aunt Brunhilde?" Gertrude asked, grateful for the distraction that Leonie's bright spirit brought into her otherwise serious life. Leonie's face lit up, illuminating the dim room with her enthusiasm. "Well, she showed me some science experiments. First, she did the egg experiment. You know, the one with the egg and vinegar." Her joy was infectious as she bounced in her chair, her eyes sparkling with the thrill of discovery. "Then we played chess together." Gertrude's heart swelled with pride. Brunhilde had a remarkable ability to bridge the gaps in their lives, filling them with knowledge and adventure. "And?" In a conspiratorial whisper, Leonie leaned closer. "We walked in the park secretly. She told me I have to keep that a secret and only tell you." Her eyes glistened with excitement, a secret shared in the safest of spaces.
"Very good, my love," Gertrude replied, a smile blooming on her face. She felt a wave of relief wash over her, knowing that Brunhilde was providing Leonie with experiences beyond the cold confines of the lab. "Anyway, what do you want me to buy?" Gertrude's voice held a promise, a thread of hope weaving through their conversation. "Are you going to buy me a new toy?" Leonie asked, her eyes widening with anticipation. "Of course," Gertrude said, brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear. But make sure that you can wait. I'll make it happen. But first, I need you to read more books. Learning is so important. I already did study with her. I practiced drawing shapes too. Leonie's pride was evident, her voice bubbling with excitement over her newfound knowledge. Very good. I can't believe you're learning so fast, Gertrude encouraged, feeling a spark of hope ignite within her. They endured isolation together, but with each shared moment, they conquered the shadows that threatened to loom over them. Leonie's enthusiasm was like a beam of sunlight, chasing away any lingering darkness. Then I promise I can buy you one, she said, beaming, her small hands clapping together in delight. And also bring me some candies. Her eyes gleamed with mischief, a playful challenge to their unspoken agreement. Don't worry. I will bring some for you, Gertrude replied, her heart dancing with joy at Leonie's simple requests, each one a reminder of the love they shared. I love you, Leonie declared, her gaze radiating pure adoration, a light that filled the room with warmth. I love you too, Gertrude responded, the words heavy with meaning, the weight of their bond a beautiful blend of daughter and mother. In that moment, they were invincible, a fortress against the world beyond their walls. The fluorescent lights flickered above Eric as he stood in the convenience store, cradling a can of energy drink between his fingers. The store was a small, bustling enclave of snacks, drinks, and the pulsating hum of boredom and anticipation. He had come in to grab something quick before heading to Alexander's party, the event of the year in their small town. Eric found himself lost in thoughts of the gathering, who would be there, what music would play, and whether he would see Hannah again. Suddenly, a familiar voice pulled him from his reverie. "Oh, I just didn't know that you were here," Hannah exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with a mischievous light that captured Eric's attention instantly. "Alexander told me that you were invited to the party, and me too." Eric's throat tightened. He hadn't seen Hannah in years. The last time had been in Herrenberg, as she helped her mother research in the shadow of an antiquated hospital. Her presence lit a spark of nostalgia, muffled whispers of laughter, and secrets shared. "Oh, and I didn't notice that you were coming," Eric managed, painfully aware of how awkward he sounded. "Why, do you miss me so much already?" Hannah teased, a knowing smile gracing her lips. "I knew you did. Yes, you did. I was just... You see, we stayed in Herrenberg while my mom was researching, trying to improve her studies. It's been a whirlwind." Eric couldn't help but lean in closer, drawn by her laughter, the sweet scent of her hair, and the closeness that had begun to build an unspoken connection between them. I should say that you just came here and I didn't expect." "Yeah, and you didn't expect us to come here. We didn't stay in the US with Alex," she interrupted, a teasing lilt to her voice. "Why is that?" "Did you argue with Alex?" he asked, a hint of concern shadowing his curiosity. "No, I didn't argue with him," she replied, her tone suddenly somber. "It's just that my mom had a huge fight with Flendale. Something bad happened between them, something personal involving evil forces." She rolled her eyes slightly, as if dismissing the darkness that clung to those words. Eric furrowed his brow. "So, what happened?" Hannah sighed, her expression shifting to one of exasperation. "My mom found out Flendale was cheating on her. It was one of the worst moments I've ever seen, you know? She worked so hard in the hospital." "Wow, that does sound rough," he said softly, unsure how to navigate this new terrain of conversation. "Right? Anyway, I saw Alex here too. He's already inviting friends, she said, steering back to lighter topics. Yes, he does, and wants to make his birthday special. Ah, so now he's turning into a brat as usual, she laughed, a warm melody that filled the space between them. Not literally. Besides, I know you're coming with Dr. Himmler. Of course. I wouldn't miss the party, she replied, her eyes dancing with excitement. As the playful banter continued, Eric found himself inching closer, the distance diminishing until the air felt electric. Hannah mirrored his movements unknowingly, as the two exchanged teasing remarks that hinted at an underlying tension neither fully acknowledged. The excitement of the upcoming party loomed over them like a promise, one that beckoned them to step into a night filled with music, laughter, and uncharted possibilities. Eric could feel the anticipation building, not just for the event itself, but for what it could mean for him and Hannah. As they stood there, suspended in a moment that felt like the very prelude to a story yet to be written, he wondered just how much their lives had changed, and how much they might still change together. Meanwhile, seated at a makeshift table in a dim corner, Mr. Techno arrived with a humble offering of food for Stella, the guerrilla group's commander. The war against the task forces was taking its toll, but with each passing day, Stella's resilience shone like the neon lights outside. The flickering glow from the outside world seeped through the cracks in the walls, casting shadows that danced around them, a stark reminder of the life they fought for. "How are you?" he asked, noting the spark of will reflected in her eyes. Despite the weight of the world resting on her shoulders, there was an indefatigable spirit that refused to be extinguished. It was a quiet strength, a flicker of hope in a landscape draped in despair. Better, but we're losing key numbers. The task forces won't give up. A somber tone enveloped their food-strewn table, where dreams in the form of bread and protein bars clashed with stark reality. Each bite was both a comfort and a reminder of their dwindling resources, a juxtaposition that echoed the larger conflict at hand. Mr. Techno nodded, digesting her news alongside the meager meal. "What's your plan?" His voice was low, almost hesitant, as if he feared the answer. The air was thick with uncertainty, the future looming like an ominous cloud overhead. "I'm rallying the troops. Every worker needs to contribute. We need the next generation," she responded, eyes gleaming with the fire of ambition. Her vision painted a vivid picture of solidarity, a tapestry woven from the threads of hope and determination. It was a call to arms not just against the enemy, but against complacency. It's a risk." Doubt seeped into his tone, a tangible weight that hung between them. They both knew the stakes. The risks were ever present, lurking in the shadows like the task forces themselves. Stella raised an eyebrow, her expression a mix of challenge and encouragement. "We've been taking risks since day one. The past is littered with mistakes. Our children must learn from them." Her words were imbued with a fierce conviction, a rallying cry for not just survival, but for growth. The legacy they forged today was the foundation upon which future generations would stand. In that dim corner, amidst the remnants of their meal and the echoes of their struggles, a flicker of hope ignited, a shared understanding that their fight was not in vain. As they leaned closer, strategizing amidst the chaos, the neon lights continued to pulse outside, a reminder that even in darkness, there existed the possibility of light. The war was far from over, but together, they would carve a path forward, one risk at a time.